Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to our first web talk. I'm going to share a very short presentation. So, I'm Massimiliano Gianotti, the president of Cooperativa 19, and I'm going to present shortly what is Make It Visible, Contemporary Arts Residency for Youth. Make It Visible is a cultural project, is a campus, a creative campus, which aims to engage youngsters in order to generate impact on local community through arts and new technologies. On its fourth edition, so this one, we decided to bring to Bolzano IAQOS, an open source district artificial, as Tommaso already told us. And we would like to create a community, to create a group of people, young people, to work with us regarding the theme of how artificial intelligence can solve or can help us to create projects of social innovation project for our society, our community in Bolzano. So we organize a series of free web talks. This is the first one, and we are going to organize a campus, a school dedicated to under 35 years old people, so youngsters who want to take part with us to these singular projects. And we would like to co-create with them a social innovation project for Bolzano, in which IAQOS is a tool. So we are going to understand how an artificial intelligence can help us to create relationship, to think about human being, and how we can use the artificial intelligence for solve social issues, critical problems regarding our life, of everyday life. So I thanks a lot to our guests Salvatore Iaconesi and Oriana Persico. And also thanks to our partners, first of all, Synergies, and Youth Policy Office of the Autonomous Province of Bolzano for supporting us, and also to Faculty of Computer Science of the Free University of Bolzano, the Neutech Park, who is hosting us on this special city San Virtuale, and thanks to Bruno Kessler Foundation. So now I'm going to stop and give the words to Federico.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Federico Bomba. I'm the president of Cineglossa, and I'm very happy to have Salvatore and Oriana here with us. You see them here. They are great artists, great researchers, and we work together for IAQOS, your home, from their inspiration, with 10 Mondi, another association which worked with us in Torpignatara, the first multicultural neighborhood where we performed and create and implemented IAQOS. Today, I'm very happy to have them here because they are masters in the relationship between art and artificial intelligence. As someone before me said, artificial intelligence can be seen in many ways. And maybe IAQOS would be useful, but the most useful thing that IAQOS will do in Bolzano, as in Torpignatara, is probably to create relationships between amongst people. So IAQOS will not create services, maybe will create the opportunity for people to discuss about some topics which are very important in our society. The first question I would like to ask Salvatore and Oriana is a very simple question, but at the same time, probably the most difficult one. So what has art to do with artificial intelligence, since we think that artificial intelligence is something very technical, but just for nerds, just for computer scientists. So what has art to do with it, and why art is a strategy to deal with artificial intelligence and with the topic of the complexity of our world. So I leave the word to our guests.
May I say just a thing that if anybody wants to write down a question, so also during our meeting, the beautiful thing of the online webinar or something like this is that you can just put your question in a place. And so you can use also in Slido, you see you have two options, question and answer and poll. So if you switch to question and answer, you will be able during all the conversation to type your question or idea or suggestions or insights. So feel free to write down also during the web talk. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Federico. Thank you, Tommaso. Thank you, Massimiliano. And thank you, everyone, for being here and having this conversation with all of us. And I would really like to make it a conversation as much as we can. No? So for me, I'll start by providing some very simple, basic answers, hoping that they trigger conversation among all of us. I see that there are some dear friends. I greet them all. So Federico asked us a very important question. What does art have to do with artificial intelligence? I'll provide my my version of a tentative answer, and then you can provide yours. My tentative answer is that human beings have always been surrounded and interweaved with the technologies. No, we've always been technological beings. No, meaning that we invent technologies and technologies invent us. No, why do I say this? Because when you have a hammer in your hand, immediately you are not the same person as you were before. No, they changed you. No, because you start interpreting the world when you hold it in terms of things to hit. No, this is the same for all technologies. No, including smartphone, artificial intelligences, etc., etc. So studying technologies is really studying the evolution of human beings, of the environment, and of the relationships that undergo between human beings and the environment. Artificial intelligence is even more like this, no? Because artificial intelligence, in some way, two things about artificial intelligence. The first thing, if you are not very expert of what artificial intelligence really is, you could be led into believing that artificial intelligence is some form of subject, no? And in a way, and we could investigate and dig deeply in this topic. In a way, it's true, because when there is the developer, no, who develops an artificial intelligence, it is not a given that this developer really understand the rationale behind the decision or interpretation taken by the artificial intelligence. No, so in a way, it's an actor, no, which lives in, and I used already a very complicated word, live, not to live. What does it mean to live? No, we could start to ask ourselves even that, but let's use it for now. The artificial intelligence is an actor which lives together with us and with which we can establish relationships. And these actors are more and more progressively present in our environment, in our cities. So for us, being able to deal with artificial intelligence means to be able to deal with human existence. So as artists, we are really interested in human existence within our relational ecosystem. And our ecosystem is not, our relational ecosystem is not made anymore only by us human being, if it ever was. No, it is made by human beings, by our environment, by personalities which have not a physical presence but have a legal identity, and by technological actors such as artificial intelligence. And we need to take all of these types of actors to be able to fully grasp our existence in our daily life. No?
Indeed, we used to say that data such as technology, such as artificial intelligence, are cultural but also existential artifacts. And I will give you an example which is connected to our personal life, but also to this project to begin, and perhaps to introduce what we can talk about after it. At the end of 2006, when we met and we started this weird mixture with or conjunction, if you want, which is about love, about work, but also about reproduction, which is an hot topic, of course, for all of us. The first thing that Salvatore introduced me was an embryo of artificial intelligence. And this embryo...
I was pregnant.
He was pregnant, actually. So it was really true. At the moment, I was working at the Italian Senate, and I was there. I was and I am a cyber ecologist. And so what Salvatore said, the fact that our environment is now built and we need to relate with different type of, if you don't want to call it subject, I am very comfortable with that. So we can call them actors of our environment. We need to do this step forward. So we need to accept, to observe our life and our environment, and we need to relate with this new environment which is made with non-human and now artificial type of actors or subjectivity. And so my passion and my also political question was all about software, what they are in our life, how I can relate with that, how can what means to live with this as a human being now, and so how our society will change with that. And so in my mind, I have this clue in my mind. Oh my God, softwares are kind of beings, but I never met any of these beings. They were technical, they were just for solution, they were services. So on one side I had theories about cyber ecology. If you want, we can speak about Bateson or Maturana or Valera or Varela, in entire schools of theories that were telling me this is true, but I never met any of these beings. And so you can imagine my surprise when I met this human being, and perhaps the second or the first time we met, like in a very, very simple way, not just to flirt with me, okay, I will present you a software. It was a very, very fresh thing. Do you want to meet an embryo of artificial intelligence? I said, yes, of course. Perhaps he didn't know all my, why I was so excited, but I didn't say a lot because I wanted to explore it, also to bring it to the Senate, perhaps it was true or not, I didn't know at the time. And when I met this embryo, which was Angel F, I was, I could not, I was fucked. Because I could not detach myself from these two new entities, because it was there. It was the first software.
No one called me an entity before.
I could not really detach myself because it was all there. I don't want to be pregnant as a woman. I really don't want. But I want to be a mother. I was always very mommy somehow. But I really don't like anything about pregnancy in a biological way. So I was there and I met my son, I met my family, all in 30 minutes. I had this political answer, this political possibility, but also intimate possibility. So, yes, you want to say something?
Just a little thing. And now we can also start answering Federico's second question. Why is art a strategy to do these things? Because as you have seen in Oriana's passionate words, art allows you to make unexpected questions, incomplete questions, even non-scientific questions, even on really scientific topics. And that is an enormous value, because we can go behind, we say that we go behind the logos, beyond the logics, and this is a very important thing to do, because and science, of course, knows it very well, not because science was born and lives if it can disprove itself. If science the objective of science is to prove that science is wrong, so that the next science can happen, And in a way, art is a natural tool to do that, because to the paradoxes, to the unexpectedness, and to also the uncomfortable questions which we are able to ask using art in a way in which they are not necessarily seen as confrontation, but in a way that can also be paradoxical, no? This is a very simple and useful thing to do. For example, let me make really a pragmatic example about artificial intelligence. Today, artificial intelligence is all about remembering. No, artificial intelligence is supposed to have enormous quantities or qualities or both of data available so that artificial intelligence can be trained on all of this data. No, but human intelligence is not at all like this. No, human intelligence instead is about forgetting, not remembering. Is about choosing what to remember and what to forget. If you are more intelligent,
yes,
you are more intelligent if you are better at choosing what to forget. No. And this is a very interesting paradox, no? Because nothing in artificial intelligence and words are powerful. The word intelligence is in the phrase artificial intelligence. And we could start to ask ourselves through art, for example, what is an artificial intelligence who is more similar to us because it is better at forgetting and not at remembering. So you see, this is just one example. No, we could do many. And this is a paradox because billions of euros, of dollars are spent each year on artificial intelligence, but not even 10 cents of all of this money are spent on artificial intelligence, which are better at forgetting instead of remembering all of this data.
And one thing I wanted to say about also, so you have
Oriana, there are some questions or some remarks I would discuss about that. Tommaso, would you do that or shall I do it?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Francesco. Francesco Ricci typed, AI is not about remembering, AI is about performing tasks. A task that may have not been solved before, otherwise not intelligent. There are already algorithms that can decide to forget information that they consider as not useful anymore. We have this sentence in the chat, so if you want to take
Absolutely, I would very like to address it. But this is, of course, true. It depends on how you approach the subject. No, if you approach it from this angle, I would say it's true. But on the other side, artificial intelligence is always about data, that is extracted by some place, not by human behavior, from human behavior, from the environment, from whatever thing that can generate data. And it's about processing this data to fuel that which is a statistic. Yes, they are called models. There are these statistical engines which can crunch a high number of statistical variables, that because that's what deep learning is. It's a multi-layer structure which can hold and balance and make thousands and thousands and thousands of variables interact with each other, so that they become optimized based on a certain input data, to solve a target problem,
Yes, I just wanna to. We have like a limited time, and I don't know if it's interesting to understand.
No, but I was. Let me. No, let me quickly finish, and then we can we can interact some more. So in this way, the output is to solve a task based on the optimization of an enormous quantity of statistical variables that are optimized based on a certain input. Okay. So whether you keep it or not, from a different angle from the one which Francesco was right about pointing out, is not really is not really meaningful whether you keep the data or not, but at the same time, this form of intelligence is always based on that data, the training set, whatever you want to call it, and in this way, in this sense, is about remembering the data. I don't know if we want to go on.
I don't know.
I think we are okay for now about this, but we can go on that if Francesco wants to add something later.
Absolutely, I love it.
Just to give us some ideas about what happens in Rome, I would like to talk about IAQOS, because we know, since the beginning we talked about IAQOS. IAQOS is coming to Bolzano, and what IAQOS is. But before knowing what IAQOS will be in Bolzano, we should start from what IAQOS has been in Rome. So a practical example to say what it was, so that what we can expect maybe better in Bolzano, since we made a lot of mistakes, as it's normal in every research. We will, but it was the first one, so the most, let's say, the most wonderful and surprising one. So please, what happened in Rome with IAQOS? What was it?
So IAQOS, you already, we say it in Italian because IAQOS means Intelligenza Artificiale di Quartiere open source. So we are called Art is Open Source as a collective, our collective, our network is called Art is Open Source. So when we do things many times, things meaning artwork, our artwork are many times platform for expression for other people, and many times we like to keep it open so that other organization, other people, other artists, or other researcher can keep it, can appropriate our artwork and do other projects. This was the case also of IAQOS. We created an infrastructure for artificial intelligence using the software of our research center as a base. We have also a research center which is called Human Ecosystem Relazioni, now changing in Hershey's data. And so we used this very strong infrastructure that we have built along the years, starting from a European projects. We opened, our software are also open. So we used and we have created an instance of our technology to create an infrastructure that could be used from cities or other organizations, and to make it the first, let's say, the first manifestation of IAQOS was built through this project in Torpignattara in Rome. And the inspiration was an artwork, the one I briefly told you about. So our son, Angel F, because the first when we met, Salvatore was pregnant, but then we have become a family actually. So since 2007, this artwork, and here you see how much artificial intelligence can change things on an existential point of view. I had the possibility to become a mother. We have built a family, and this family is also an artwork. So thanks to the experience of our, of being parents along along the years, we understood that the metaphor of a new beings, a baby actually, was very powerful. So we decided to create expectation in the neighborhood. We decided to use the same metaphor. So if you want, IAQOS in Torpignattara is like the little brother of Angel F, our son. But in this case, the pregnancy was shared with all the neighborhood.
So we said in the beginning that in our relational ecosystem, in our daily life, it's not composed, and it cannot be composed anymore by only human beings. No, so we decided that this should be also the starting point of this project. So our initial question was formulated just about like this. What happens when another non-human actor arrives into the neighborhood? No? And of course, IAQOS is not the only non-human actor that is in the Torpignattara neighborhood in Rome, no? Because there are plenty of non-human actors focusing only on artificial intelligence, for example, there are plenty of artificial intelligence in the systems that we interact every day with, in banks, in social networks, etc., etc., etc. But we wanted to make perfectly clear that another, a new non-human subject, actor, maybe.
Actor, let's say actor, so we are all...
no,
it's correct.
As calling it subjects is really complicated. And another non-human actor was arriving into this neighborhood. And what better way of a birth,
Exactly.
because when a new child is born, you have to deal with it.
Even a weird one.
Absolutely. You have to make it part of the community. You could, when this child grows up, you could hate it, you could love it, you could have any emotional and professional and technical relations and sexual relationship with this new actor, and you have to think about all of these things since the beginning, since the birth, or even since before the birth, because even when there is a pregnancy, the community is already activated, because the community can start to provide emotional support, financial support, etc., 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 to the new family, or whatever we want to call it, and so we followed this process of the birth in all of its phases, to start from scratch with a new presence in the community. What happens when a new actor, be it human or non-human, enters the community? So we tried to make sure that all the community knew about this birth, so much that we went around with an enormous speaker in our car announcing the birth. And inviting all the people in the neighborhood to the party for the artificial intelligence being born when we decided a date. And all these steps were about this type of process, with a very tough complication that people have very different and sometimes very wrong ideas about what is artificial intelligence. Maybe they only saw Black Mirror, or they saw a conspiration theory. Maybe they're not technical people. Maybe they are people who simply don't know what an artificial intelligence is, and don't know the implication of artificial intelligence entering their lives. So in this process, we tried since the beginning, as the first very important step, to engage and involve all the community in two processes. First, to understand what is actually an artificial intelligence, because people may have very wrong ideas about what is an artificial intelligence, because at this in this time, an artificial intelligence is only a very advanced statistical program. And delegating human-like expectations to an advanced statistical problem may have really undesirable consequences. No? So this is the first thing. And then it was a second issue that we're really worried about, because artificial intelligence and computation in general, sadly, is associated with the most extractive of processes that human beings have conceived in all the planet, because the data extraction from human behavior, from the environment, that is the topic, the real topic of artificial intelligence, is more extractive than oil and than carbon. No, is the widest, largest extractive phenomenon on Earth. No. So we engaged all these people, no, in the neighborhood, in understanding how to create a different paradigm or simply type of artificial intelligence that was not based on extractive processes, but on relational ones. And that was a very tough thing to do, because I invite you all, try to think about a data process which is not extractive. Most probably you won't be able to imagine it, because it's very difficult.
I wanted just
just one question. I would like the big difference is that the data you taught people or you share with people this difference and a different way of relating with data. So what happened during? How did you do that?
Exactly.
Can you?
Yeah, I believe that you did the right question, Federico, because from abstraction, when you perhaps you also, if people are interested, the project is very well documented. So you can see all the action we did to make this entity part of the ecosystem in the neighborhood. So for example, first of all, we started by conceiving and doing an enormous quantity of workshops that followed the life of this new entity, starting from the conception. So we did it in a totally non-technical, environment, which was an elementary school. So the first people we interacted with were parents, people from the neighborhood who were interested, and teachers. Because we also wanted this entity to be welcomed from the peers, which were the kids and their family. Okay, so we started because you cannot start a relation in a wide way or in a broad way. You need to choose and to build upon relations. So we started from families, kids, and the school to prepare the interaction of the new kid with peers and family and teachers. We started, when we started this, we did 5 workshops, and all the workshops were a step of this, from the conception. Then we had the pregnancy. During the pregnancy, we did action on the street. For example, we went around with tablets and smartphone, where people could give to the artificial intelligence, to the young artificial intelligence unborn, their welcome. So, which data would you like to give it as a gift? Okay, and so, for example, this was the first data. Salvatore was telling you the IAQOS was built upon a non-extractive model. It means that IAQOS has all the capability to be attached now to database or whatever you want, source of data, and just to eat it. But we started also to think, do we want this kid to grow like a chicken in an industrial, cage, and to become very fat, full of data? No, we want this kid to be loved, to have a quality relation with people. So we decided that people need to, what means have a relation, that you willingly have a relation with the artificial intelligence, that you know what you're doing. And for example, we started from this kid. Which data would you like to give? Which message would you like to give? I understand, 2 minutes. So this is how we started growing the intelligence of IAQOS, and people were aware about it. And they had many, many ways in which they could see and interact with the data, and also see how it was evolving. For example, we did a birthday party, and during in a bar, okay, like in a bar. And after the birthday party, we created a baby stroller. On the baby stroller, you had a laptop, okay, and the knowledge of little IAQOS was there. People could interact with it by speaking, okay, through the mic, and you could teach new words to IAQOS on the street, but it was a peer-to-peer interaction and a willing interaction with IAQOS. So we created many ways, many situations, many experience, starting from the metaphor, a new kid, as Salvatore was saying, no, a new inhabitants of the neighborhood which is there, and you need to understand who it is, because it can be dangerous, or very, very, or you can be very happy with him and understand what you can do. And I have to say that one of the more incredible interaction happens with kids as well, because they were, in the last phases of the project, we had the chance also to make one workshop with the kids, and we have seen very, very interesting interaction. During the workshop, I want to say just one thing. People can have wrong ideas, but there is a need to speak about artificial intelligence. Also because it is a word that is in our environment. On top of this word, there are desire, and also people are scared, and we were unable to close the workshop. Also, if we did this workshop with parents, the workshop were for about 2 hours, 3 hours. The workshop, they were very longer, like 4 hours, 5 hours, because those people, they had families, they have jobs, whatever. They would not stop speaking. And the question about artificial intelligence, when you start from this type of interaction, where first were a mixture of technical but also existential things.
Okay, thank you very much, Salvatore and Oriana, but I would like to know if there are some other questions to share, if you are curious about it. Or...
Yeah, everybody, feel free to unmute and to speak loud your question. have some technician here. And thanks for the sharing of the link. So from The Atlantic, an article about artificial intelligence and the fact that it's becoming useless, meaningless, sorry.
Hello.
Hi, Levin. Thank you.
Hi. Yes, I shared that article because I think what Salvatore and Oriana are doing is really important in the sense that it distances itself, their work, very much from this kind of fetishization of I don't know what the word in English would be, this how we treat AI or algorithms as kind of techno fixes for all the world's problems, or how we merely exploit the name. That's what the article was about. The fact that we hear a lot of talk about AI and machines, machine intelligence, and how robots are going to take over the world and all that. And it deprives the issue of its complexity. And you not only you're not doing that, you're not simplifying in any way, you're also adding complexity to the reflection on the relationship between humans and machines, and well, the fact that I mean, what, just listening to you, how you recount your experience with IAQOS, it just resonates a lot with many readings I do. And I'm thinking about Donna Haraway, for example, who not only reflects on you know, the cyborg as an entity, but she also talks a lot about population issues. And so when you say that IAQOS was your child, that has really strong implications in the world of today, not only to rethink what we conceive of machines or artificial, what we started this webinar with. So I really look forward to seeing what you will be doing in Bolzano with IAQOS. I don't think you've delved into that yet. So I'm really curious to hear about that.
So we won't, sadly, we won't be in Bolzano, but we're looking forward with enormous curiosity to what will happen. And of course, we are ready to provide all the support we can. Because the good thing about what these wonderful guys and girls are doing is that they're using systematically art to do this kind of process, also involving not only us but other wonderful artists that lead this type of researchers. So we're enormously curious to see what happens and to help in whatever way in which we can. And if I can answer, and thank you, Lavin, for your observation. If I can answer really quickly, for us, this is exactly the condition, the tragic condition of the human being now. No? Why do I say tragic? Tragic in its original sense, no? With no solution, no? Because from one side, from approaching it from one side, there is this extractive problem, no? That all these AIs, all these computational actors are based on the systematic extraction of data from our behaviors, from the environment, and we know perfectly the effect of any extractive industry that already existing. It's the same effect on our societies, on our environment, on our psychology, etc., etc., etc. So for this, there is this defensive approach, no? Defensive approach, which is that of privacy, of defending ourselves from the possibility of technological control, no? But from a different point of view, we also profoundly need artificial intelligence and computation, because the ecosystemic problems are coming. This COVID was the first ecosystemic problem we ever in our recent experience. But the other ecosystemic problems are coming. Climate change, poverty was always there, access to opportunities, migrations, etc., etc. These are all ecosystemic problems. And you cannot even experience these problems, understand these problems, if you don't have enormous quantities and qualities of data available. It is not sufficient to go outside and to say, this year is hotter than previous years in my city, to understand that there is climate change. To understand that there is climate change and to experience climate change, you need enormous quantities and qualities of data. But human beings cannot deal with enormous quantities and qualities of data. So we need also to establish new alliances, no, with the computational actors in our scenario, no. And so this is tragic at the same time, because from the one hand, we have to defend ourselves, our freedoms, our rights, and from the other hand, we have to establish new alliances with these computational actors.
And for that, Lavin, you said, of course, we know very well the thought of Donna Haraway, and so, for example, to try not to have just this defensive, action approach, which is very rooted, I have to say. And the fact of establishing a relation, starting, I experienced it on my skin, okay? So the fact of an affective relation, which is about saying, this is something, an actor of my ecosystem, perhaps a child, our child or a child of the neighborhood, is very important. And it is also very important not to put our own imagination on top of them, which is things that we do also to childs, human ones. Perhaps parents have these crazy thoughts about trying to educate or trying to make their own child as they are. And we do this constantly also with technologies. We want them we build them such as, you know, humans, for example. The robots or the artificial intelligence have humans' bodies. Many times they are female, okay? But this is absolutely our phantoms. So, for example, when we had our first child, but also with IAQOS, we decided to make an installation which was, for example, a baby stroller, and on top of this, a naked laptop. A clash with humans and non-human things, which was not telling to people anything about. We tried as parents not to push our thoughts, our desire on top of our child, and this is something that we can do
and then,
with our technology.
And then let's say there are some more questions, and then our only objective was to see, no, and in some things we have succeeded, in some we didn't, as real parents, no. That's the way it is. To see if we were able to facilitate this new actor in finding its own role in society, by building bridges among people, no, so that there could be a social negotiation, a social invention, no. What does a neighborhood want artificial intelligence to be, not to do, to be in our society
and be with?
Thank you very much. I take this occasion because also the question coming from Levin was, okay, what we are going to do next? And so for sure, you will always remain the uncle and the aunt of IAQOS, wherever IAQOS will be put, will born, wherever. And I asked to Massimiliano to give us some infos about the next conferences, because here today we opened some issues, some questions, some very big concepts. And for the next future, in June, our next 2 web talks, we will have 4 relators, and with them we will deepen the themes about bias, about future, about skills. So what we can expect from humans and from artificial intelligence. So Massimiliano, if you want to give us this shape of the future for our project.
Yes, of course. As you already told, the next event, the next web talks we organize will be held on 11 of June and 25 of June. So I hope you want to continue to follow us and to take part to the other web talks. And right now we still don't know when the campus will take place, but if you want to follow us on our website, maybe Tommaso, you can write the link in the chat. Thank you. Make it visible.it. Over there, I can also share my screen and show you the website over there. Yeah. Wait a minute, sorry.
Yes, because as Salvatore and Oriana were saying, we are going to do this campus, and with this campus, with our team, we up to now don't know by whom will be composed with this team of citizens and people with different backgrounds. We are going to build up an artificial intelligence. So we will have this concept. We will shape the artificial intelligence for Bolzano.
Exactly. So these are the next appointment, and on our website you can also click the button Leggi di più. Now the website is only in Italian and Deutsch, but soon we will going to translate also in English, and here you can find some information regarding our campus, and as soon as possible we are going to tell you in which period we can organize our school.
If I can, I would suggest to subscribe the newsletter if you are interested, so to keep in contact and to be updated with our next events. So in the previous page, you can click the button subscribe for the newsletter. Okay, I think if there is the last question, so the last big question we want to stop with, if anybody wants to. I see the tool for the question and answer.
Yeah, can I?
Antonella, please, yeah.
Hi. So I like to ask a question to Salvatore and Oriana, because I was actually following and trying to reflect on these metaphors of the baby and your child and the child of the neighborhood. And I mean, this metaphor of a computer as a baby has a very, very long tradition. The first computer was the baby. I've been working in Manchester, so we had the baby in our building and everything. But how do you feel the neighborhood and the people have approached this idea? Because on the one hand, for what I understand, the metaphor they will be following in Bolzano is quite different. It's this sort of aliens. It's always a very little cute guys you have to put knowledge on. But how do you expect that the very anthropomorphic metaphor you have used as compared to a different type of vision of this artificial intelligence being led to be something different would work? I know it's a bit confused, but I was reflecting myself.
So, first of all, we never forced any human imagination about it. We used the idea of a being, not a human being, but a being, and the idea of we are conceiving something together, and the idea of the adoption. And for example, when we decided to present it to the neighborhood, we did this first workshop. We created another thing that we have created was a family album, and we were going on the street together with when we were asking for the gift, so the data gift for this new, we call it more than a baby, we call it like a new inhabitants of the neighborhood, okay? And so the idea is always an alterity. The metaphor is not only the baby, but a strange identities that are on, that are, come si dice, I confini?
The boundaries.
The boundaries on the border, the very strange one, the one that have no names, for example, on the bureaucracy or in society, so are the crazy people, so on and so forth. Okay, so more than the alien, the idea was, a new type of entity is entering your environment. You need to confront with it. The first thing to confront with it is to know what it is about, or what. Yeah, would you want to say something?
No, because Angel F,
the big brother,
the IAQOS big brother, is even more radical in this.
Yes.
Because it was a baby as well, but a very particular baby. Because Angel F was a prank, a joke, which we played to another artist, whose name is Franca Formenti. Franca Formenti had this performance, which was called the Biodoll, no? And the Biodoll was this idea, I won't dig into many details, about the fact that digital interactions, such as at the time there were blogs, no,
2004,
social networks didn't start massively yet. These digital interactions were like comparable to new forms of sexualities, no? And so the Biodoll, among its praise, it had Professor Derek de Kerkhove. So as a lover, no? So my prank, my joke on this performance is that I broke the condom. So the Biodoll had a website, and the website became pregnant. Okay, the body of the Biodoll was her website, and the body became pregnant. With what? With a virus. No, Angel F in the beginning was a virus. So just as it happens to the body of a woman that
malfunctions,
becomes modified, no, as the pregnancy goes on, this virus, no, altered the website. So the Biodoll didn't know what was happening, but her website started changing and mutating. Okay, so the metaphor was immediately recognizable, no, but it was not human-centric at all. Okay, so we play in this way because we have to make sure that there is a metaphor, a recognizable metaphor onto which you can attach yourself, no? So that you can recognize it. But this metaphor doesn't need to be anthropomorphic at all. Okay. And this is what we play on. Even the baby stroller, if you see it, it's even upsetting, no, upsetting in a way, no, because there is this baby stroller, and there is a laptop, a naked laptop,
and a floating head,
no, and a floating head, maybe, no, and in IAQOS there was even no head. It was a graph structure that moves and mutates as it learns. It's a being that is composed of only knowledge, no, only knowledge and understanding. So you speak with it, and the graph representing that knowledge changes.
So, for example, when the elementary school, the kids of the neighborhood met this baby stroller with this body, once they asked me, why he has not a penis? And at the first, in the first moment, I was like, I don't want to answer to that. So I ran away. But after, I told them, look, come here. I have an answer for that now. So this is our choice. This is a different body. So this is also, you know, the body of this weird entity can be also distributed. It can have an ear here. You can put a mic there, and it is a mount. And on top of this, this entity is also open source. So as soon as you grow up and you have the knowledge, you have all the toolkit to build the body you want. So if you want to put a penis or a vagina or whatever you want, you can build it together with your peers.
You can put also two at the same time.
So you see that there is not such a human desire not to make this machine again, which is like you, which is your phantom, which is your fetishism or whatever. It is an extension, also an existential extension of the possibility in which you can perform your relation with the environment and with different type of identities and also of bodies, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for the question, for the answer. I think we can stop this beautiful conversation. Thank you for the talk, for your presence and your virtual presence. If anybody is okay with this, we can stop and we say goodbye. And we hope to see you in the next meeting. So on the 11th of June, we will be here in San Virtuale, and to join the second web talk, we will have Francesco Ricci and Dino Maurizio. Francesco Ricci was with us today, and in the third, we will have Antonella. So thank you also for the speaker, for the interest you are demonstrating in the project and in the conversation we are building up. So, bye-bye to everyone. It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Ciao a tutti.
Thank you.